What's up, everybody? My name is Jack Beasley. I am a freelance sports photographer in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Today, I'm talking about what I feel is the best noise reduction software on the market today. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, today I'm talking about what I feel is the best noise reduction software on the market today, and that is DxO Pure Raw 4. And let me say up front that this video is not endorsed in any way, shape, or form. All of the software that I'm going to use today, I paid for myself. It was not given to me. Nobody is paying me to make this video. Having said that, there are some affiliate links down below, and if you click on it, I get a small percentage of the sale. Of course, you could always just Google the software and go that route too. If you watched my channel in the past, you know I was a huge proponent of Topaz Denoise AI. It was in several videos, and I said it was the best. And I did a lot of comparisons, and it always came out the best, at least in my opinion. I can no longer endorse Topaz Denoise AI because Topaz doesn't even support it even more. Then they came in with Topaz Photo AI, which basically replaced Denoise AI and Sharpen AI. Gigapixel AI is still floating around out there. And again, I've talked about that in other videos. It does some things very well, some things not so well. What I really like about DxO Pure Raw 4, which is the same thing I liked with Denoise from Topaz, is I could throw 1,000 images at it and it would process them all. It would analyze them. It would sharpen them. It would perform the denoise, and whatever came out on the other end, as long as I did my part and the image was pretty sharp to start with, it would come out great. I had very few issues with denoise, but I'm seeing the same really good performance out of batch processing from DxO Pure Raw 4, and that's something I love. On top of that, I think the way it performs sharpening and noise reduction is better, even minutely better, but better than some of the other pieces of software that are out there right now. So with that said, let's get into it and let's look at some photo. All right, this first image I want to look at is a baseball. Now, it's during the day, and you may be wondering why I'm bothering with noise reduction during the day. Well, I would tell you this because in this particular image, I'm going to blow it up quite significantly. You can see I'm pretty far away from the subject, even with the 400-2.8. There's a lot of dead space around him that's not doing or adding to the image. I want to crop it down significantly. And when you crop it down significantly, you actually introduce more grain or noise. So I'm going to zoom 100% down to his face. This is the raw image, and even with raw, with a little bit of the sharpening that Lightroom wants to add to everything, it at least has its base settings. There's also some color noise reduction. Again, base settings. This is what Lightroom wants to do all the time unless you make changes to it. It looks pretty good. Can't really complain. The noise is almost nothing. Of course, it's ISO 200, so I kind of suspect it would perform that well. So you could go with this image, be fine, right? But if we want to take it to the next level, let's go over to the DxO Pure Raw 4. As you can see, this image is a little tighter. What I can see when I do it for the Pure Raw 4 is I can see individual threads in his hat, which I couldn't necessarily see in the original raw sharpened image. His face is a little sharper, a little bit more detail that is popping out with the Pure Raw 4. Now, what I want to do is, now let's go to Lightroom's own denoise. This is good, and it works really well, and I do like the Lightroom denoise. Not quite as sharp as the Pure Raw. You could argue it maybe is pretty darn sharp, but in this case, is not quite as sharp. Now let's go to Topaz Photo AI. Now, the first thing you notice is I haven't done anything. I haven't made any changes. And you can see from these red lines on his uniform, that is Lightroom telling me that the highlights are blown out. I didn't do that. All the settings are exactly the same. Now, I'll tell you the sharpening's turned off, the luminance, the color, noise reduction, they're all turned off because it happened all in Topaz Photo AI. But for whatever reason, Photo AI increases the contrast. And in my estimation, it over sharpens. So let me tell you a little bit more about Photo AI while I'm here. Now with Photo AI, it likes to do things for you. It likes to do a lot of things for you. And it is my opinion, it does too much for you. In this case, I forced the program to only do noise reduction. And I use the noise reduction I found works best with the files out of this camera. And I actually I let it do sharpening, but I actually toned it down a little bit because it tends to over sharpen. The other thing I had to do with Photo AI is I had to turn off the upscaling so it wouldn't automatically do that. And I had to turn off the face recovery so it wouldn't automatically do that. Because if you don't turn off those things, it'll do it. And you may not want it to do the upscaling or the face recovery. And if you watch some of my earlier videos, like this one, you'll understand why you don't want to do that. So now that we've done a daylight and I've showed you some quick examples there, let's go into some low light conditions, pretty high ISOs, same baseball game, but now it's nighttime. This is at 12,800. In this case, once again, I left the sharpening on, but I turned off all the noise reduction. This is the raw with no other activities on it. You can see how much noise is on there. Let's go to the DxO Pure Raw 4. I think it cleaned it up very nicely. A lot of details in the hat, in his uniform, in his face. I think it still worked out very well. Let's go to the Lightroom's denoise real quick. So a little bit of loss of detail, just like the previous examples. It's still good, still acceptable, but if you want the very best, in my opinion, the Pure Raw 4 is better. I'll go back to that real quick. See a lot more details. You can actually see pores on his skin, which you cannot see with the Lightroom. Let's go to Topaz Photo AI. Again, there's that contrast issue. The face isn't as sharp as what I'm going to go back to Pure Raw 4. Pure Raw 4, a lot more details, a lot more sharpening. So here's Photo AI. I don't think the details are in there. Now, maybe I'm being picky about it, but you know, if you're going to pay for software, you might as well get the best, right? Now, I want to show you something in the background. This may be hard to see again if you're just on a phone, but I'll explain it to you. If you look in the background, it looks a bit cloudy back here. I've got no noise reduction going on, and there is a slight purple tinge to it. And the only way I have found with these images that are coming from Photo AI, Topaz Photo AI, is you have to actually add color noise reduction to take away that kind of purplish haze. Okay, so now that I've talked about, you know, what I perceive is the better image quality, let's talk about performance when you're actually bulk processing. Now, I'm the kind of guy, I shoot thousands of images at a game. I'll shoot the entire game because I'm potentially selling images to both teams, every single player on that field. And some games I could come home, you know, between two camera buys, like 3,000, 4,000 images. Now I'll cull those down, but I may only get them down to say 1,000, or at least in the very high hundreds, right? So then I want to just bulk process them. Now, luckily I am not on a strict deadline. I can just throw them in there and walk away. Or throw them in at night, go to bed, come back the next day. You can do that with Pure Raw. You can do it with all of them. There's ways to do it and get around it and make it work. But I found that DxO Pure Raw 4 is the easiest to do that. You throw them in there, you get it going. It takes a couple seconds to get going with huge batch files, but once it gets going, it starts running. And I know when it comes to the end, it'll point to exactly where it was. I can find it and I can import into Lightroom. So how does it actually perform when it's doing batch processing? Well, with DxO Pure Raw 4, I ran a batch, and that batch of 17 images averaged 13 seconds apiece. When I ran it in Topaz Photo AI, it came out to 18 seconds each. Okay, not a huge difference, but if we're talking 1,000 images, that may be a thing. Finally, using Lightroom denoise, I batch filed the same number of images. It came out to about 20 seconds apiece, so even longer. So almost double the amount of time in Lightroom denoise as it took to do in DxO Pure Raw 4. So once again, another reason I like DxO Pure Raw 4. Like I said before, there are links below for all of these products. I have affiliate links for Pure Raw 4 and the Topaz Photo AI if you'd like to try those out. Either way, check it out. There's free trials for all of this stuff. Check it out, see if it works for you. What do you have to lose? So if you're a Pure Raw 4 user and you like it or you don't like it, leave a comment below. If you think one of these other products is better, I'd love to hear about it. And I'd especially love to hear why you think one is better than the other. And if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like, comment below, and I'll see you on the next one.